Did you know that people spend over 50% of their waking hours talking? But here's the kicker. Most of that time is wasted because they don't know how to connect effectively. In fact, studies show that over 70% of people feel misunderstood in conversations. So, what's the secret to breaking through this communication barrier? What if I told you that mastering just a few simple techniques could change the way you interact with everyone, from coworkers to your closest friends? How to Win Friends and Influence People is not just a book. It's a roadmap to understanding human behavior, building powerful relationships, and influencing others without being pushy. In this summary, we're diving deep into strategies that have been proven to work for over 80 years. You'll learn how to make a great first impression, handle disagreements with ease, and even win people over without them knowing it. Whether you're looking to boost your career, improve your social life, or simply communicate better, this guide has something for you. Stay tuned. The power to transform your relationships starts right here. Chapter 1. The Art of Genuine Connection in the World of Personal Development. One truth remains clear. People crave genuine connections. Carnegie stresses that the key to influencing others starts with understanding them. He argues, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Simply put, if you want to connect with someone, focus on them first, not yourself. This is a powerful concept, especially in an age where everyone seems focused on promoting themselves. Did you know that studies show humans are wired for connection? Research reveals that our brains release dopamine when we help others. This makes connection not only emotionally rewarding but neurologically beneficial as well. So, when you show genuine interest in others, you're not just being kind. You're triggering feel-good chemicals in their brain. Active listening is another major tool in your connection toolbox. It's not just about hearing, it's about truly listening. You can ask questions, nod, and show empathy. This creates a bond where the other person feels heard, something everyone deeply values. People love to talk about themselves, and by showing genuine interest, you're allowing them to do just that. Also, remember that people are much more likely to engage with you if they feel respected. Show this respect by acknowledging their feelings and opinions, even if they differ from your own. Everyone loves to be praised, but it has to be sincere. Carnegie famously said, "A person's name is, to that person, the sweetest sound in any language." Never underestimate the power of a name when connecting with someone. Chapter 2. The Power of Praise. Flattery with a purpose. Compliments are one of the most powerful tools you can wield. But Carnegie warns against empty flattery. Compliments need to be sincere and meaningful. If you tell someone they have a nice smile but don't mean it, they'll sense it. So, when you give praise, make it personal and specific. For example, instead of just saying, "Great job," try, "Your attention to detail in this project was impressive." This shows that you're paying attention to what they're doing, and you truly appreciate their efforts. Carnegie also suggests focusing on people's strengths, not weaknesses. Everyone has something they do well, and highlighting that can be a big boost to their confidence. People love to feel competent, and by recognizing their talents, you make them feel valued. Psychological studies back up the importance of recognition. In fact, research has shown that praise boosts productivity and creativity. When people feel appreciated, they're more likely to continue to perform at a high level. So, giving compliments doesn't just make people feel good, it increases their motivation and commitment. On a deeper level, compliments can create a positive feedback loop. The more you praise others, the more they will likely return the favor, resulting in a mutually beneficial relationship. Remember, the key is to be genuine. When the praise is authentic, it builds trust. And when trust is built, influence becomes natural. Chapter 3. Mastering the language of influence. The words you choose can either strengthen or weaken your influence. Carnegie understood this well, which is why he emphasized the power of language. Phrases like, "I'm sorry," or "please," might seem simple, but they carry great weight in human interactions. These words show respect and humility, which are fundamental to effective communication. According to Carnegie, if you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. What he means is that positive language works far better than negative. Instead of telling someone what they're doing wrong, focus on what they're doing right. For instance, if you need to correct a colleague, try framing the feedback positively, like, I see you've put a lot of effort into this. Here's a small adjustment that could make it even better. Research confirms that people are more likely to respond to positive suggestions. In fact, a study by the Harvard Business Review found that people are much more likely to accept constructive criticism when it's framed within a positive context. This doesn't mean sugarcoating the truth, it means being tactful with your words. Carnegie also recommends avoiding arguments. He says, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Why? Because arguing triggers defensiveness, which closes off communication. Instead of fighting, try finding common ground and focusing on mutual goals. This approach fosters cooperation, not conflict. One of the most effective ways to influence people is by using inclusive language. Phrases like, "We can do this together," or "Let's solve this problem," create a sense of teamwork. They make people feel like they're part of something bigger, a shared mission, which can be incredibly motivating. Finally, when speaking with others, always be sincere in your language. People can easily spot insincerity, and when they do, trust erodes. Always make sure your words align with your intentions. Being authentic in your language not only builds influence but also strengthens relationships. Chapter 4. Disarming disagreement. Turning conflict into cooperation. Disagreements are inevitable, but they don't have to lead to conflict. Carnegie believes the key to turning arguments into productive conversations is to remain calm and listen carefully. He says, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Instead of debating, try to understand the other person's perspective. People want to feel heard, and when you listen without interrupting, you're building trust. When you disagree with someone, don't attack them personally. Carnegie advises, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. By sharing your own faults, you make the conversation less confrontational and more collaborative. This vulnerability can create an atmosphere where both parties are more open to resolving the issue. Psychological studies support this approach. Research shows that people are less defensive when they feel they're not being blamed. When you approach a disagreement with humility, the other person is more likely to listen and be open to compromise. This is a win-win. You avoid conflict while finding solutions together. Carnegie also suggests asking questions instead of making statements. For example, instead of saying, "You're wrong," ask, "Have you considered this?" This opens the door for dialogue rather than shutting it down. It gives the other person a chance to explain themselves, and it shows that you value their input. The goal of any disagreement should be cooperation, not winning. Carnegie reminds us that it's not about proving the other person wrong, but about finding common ground. When you focus on shared goals and a mutual desire for resolution, both sides feel respected, and cooperation becomes much easier. If you're finding this summary helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more tips on improving your relationships and communication skills. Chapter 5. The Reciprocity Principle. Give first, gain last. One of the most effective strategies for influencing people is rooted in the idea of reciprocity. Carnegie emphasizes that you can get anything you want if you help enough other people get what they want. This principle is simple. Give first, and others will want to return the favor. Studies back this up. Research shows that when we receive help from others, we feel a natural urge to give back. This is a deeply ingrained social instinct. So, when you offer help or kindness without expecting anything in return, you create a sense of goodwill. Over time, people will feel indebted to you and will be more likely to support you when you need it. One of the best ways to apply this principle is by offering help without any strings attached. If you see someone struggling, offer assistance. It could be as simple as offering advice, giving a compliment, or providing resources. The act of giving doesn't have to be grand. Even small gestures can make a big impact. Another powerful aspect of the reciprocity principle is that it creates lasting relationships. When you consistently give to others, they start to associate you with positivity and support. This connection strengthens over time, making it easier to influence them when the time comes. The more you invest in others, the stronger your influence becomes. Remember, giving doesn't always mean giving material things. You can give your time, your knowledge, or even your attention. These acts of kindness, although intangible, often leave a lasting impression. In the long run, people appreciate those who consistently contribute to their lives. Chapter 6. The magnetism of authenticity. Authenticity is the secret weapon of influence. Carnegie makes a compelling case when he says, the only way to influence people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. But this can only happen if you are genuinely yourself. People can spot insincerity a mile away. When you try to manipulate others by being something you're not, it's obvious, and it creates distrust. Authenticity isn't just about being true to yourself, it's about allowing others to see your true self. This transparency builds a foundation of trust. When you're authentic, people feel more comfortable around you, which naturally increases your ability to influence them. Research supports this idea. A study conducted by Harvard Business Review found that people are more likely to trust leaders who are authentic and transparent. When someone is perceived as genuine, they're seen as more reliable, and people are more likely to follow their lead. Authenticity fosters trust, and trust is the cornerstone of influence. Another benefit of authenticity is that it helps you build stronger, more meaningful relationships. When you're real with others, they feel safe being real with you. This creates deeper connections that are built on honesty, making it easier to influence others in the long term. When you embrace your true self, you also show vulnerability, and that's another key to connection. Carnegie emphasizes that vulnerability doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. People are drawn to others who are real, who aren't afraid to admit their flaws or uncertainties. It creates a bond that superficial charm simply can't replicate. Ultimately, authenticity attracts people because it's rare. In a world full of pretenses, being genuine makes you stand out. It's a subtle yet powerful way to gain influence and connect with others on a deeper level. By being true to who you are, you become magnetic, and people will naturally be drawn to you. If you enjoyed this summary, make sure to subscribe for more insights on personal development and tips for building meaningful relationships.